All right, so now within WordPress, we're actually going to start getting into creating posts and how to use posts. So posts are really what WordPress is about. It's about all of these different posts, and even when I'm using that arcade script, each one of the video games is actually going to be a separate post, and that's how it goes into the database, and that's how WordPress interprets the content. So posts, even though WordPress originally set up for blogging, and posts just made sense that when you've got new posts, you want them to show up on your site one by one. So always having new posts, and was all about posts. WordPress has really changed from them, and posts are generally any type of new content that you're adding on a regular basis. So when we click posts, we get this quick view of posts. We've got options here to do a quick edit. We've got an option to preview it. We can trash it as well. And then we've got edit, which opens up a new screen where we can actually update the content of the post. So this is a really useful dashboard, and you've also got these options to do some bulk actions. So you can select a whole bunch of them, edit a bunch of posts. You can move them to trash, and this is your control center for all of your posts. You can sort them by the ones that are published. You can sort them by dates. You can sort them by categories, filter them, search the posts, on and on and on. A lot of good options here right off the bat. See that I've got a comment here as well, so I can see comments in the posts, and you can see a lot of information quickly within this dashboard. So going back to posts brought me over to comments. So they do look similar. So here we have all of the posts, and they're going to be paginated. So as you get more posts, don't worry, you're going to be able to scroll through them and get access to them. And that's when filtering and sorting is going to be more important. When you've got a whole ton of posts, hundreds of posts, you want to look through them. So here we've got a few options here. So before I add a new post, I'm just going to look at categories quickly. And categories are essentially what's going to appear on your site. So depending again on the site content, so if I had a website and if I had tutorials, maybe I want one of my categories to simply be tutorials. I'm not going to have a parent. This is where the tutorials go, and add a new category. And then I might have, if I'm a web developer, I might have one for portfolio. And they do have the option to make your own slugs there, to also have parents there. So you could have portfolio, and if you had graphics, if you had videos, and so on, you could sort them under your parent. So if I had another one called all of my graphics, portfolio, I could sort them under there. So I'm just going to write everything I've made here. And again, so now we have an option to go under the ones that we've created. So now we can go under the portfolio and so on. So I'm going to leave this for now, and we're going to go back and we're going to see how all of this works. But this is how you start to build out those main category lists. And you see that we've got a listing here of categories, but we don't have anything in those categories yet. So that's why there's nothing that's showing up. And the same thing with tags here. So what I can do here is I can create a bunch of tags here. I can have a slug. And you can use tags in order to group what you're doing together. And you can also create all of these when you create a post as well. So for now, if I want to focus on particular tagging system on my website, I could create some custom tags here that I could use within my posts. And then I've got my option here. If I want to delete these tags, I can do that as well. So going back into the posts, so now what I want to do is So I've got all of my posts here, and now we're going to get to adding a new post. So a couple options: menu on the left hand side, menu on the right hand side. So either one is going to actually bring you to the same place where you're adding a brand new post. My first real post. So this is where you enter in a title. And much like anything in WordPress, you've got an option here under screen options to customize how your screen is going to look. So you do have options here for different layouts here. You can have a 2-column, a 1-column. So again, depending on what your personal preferences are, and especially when you add in plugins, you might want to show certain options, might want to highlight different ones. You can also drag them around. You've got an option here for format, and just really a lot of different options. So usually people, I don't really see a lot of people customizing these screen options, but it's good to know that it's here in case you do need it. So here I can enter in a slug if I want to customize the slug, and so on. So I'm just going to hide that, and that's always up here in the top right hand corner along with help. So if you ever are stuck, there's some more information about how to do customizing the display, title and post editor, inserting media. So the help is always right here. So if you are ever confused, or if I'm going too fast and you want to take a look for yourself, the help is always right here. So if you're stuck, you can always do that help. So there are actually going to be 2 options here for writing out a post, and I'm going to have one option here which is going to be a visual option. So I'm going to just do hello world, and this is really cool. And from here I've got this WYSIWYG editor. So what you see is what you get, WYSIWYG, and this allows me to bold text, to make text italic, to add in hyperlinks, remove hyperlinks. I'm able to add in add in even more stuff here when I toggle it. So I can see that so right now it's a paragraph, but if I want to change this to a heading 2 or something like that, I've got my options there. I can justify, and so these are more things that you're not using as regularly. I also have special characters, so if I wanted to add in a heart, for instance, I can do that as well. So all of this stuff well thought out. Indents, undo, so if I don't like something I've done, I can always go back. There's also keyboard shortcuts. So these are going to be your standard keyboard shortcuts. So again, keyboard shortcuts, a lot of times it's good to make things quicker. Again, it's good. It's all right there. Always a lot of help with WordPress. And here, if you want to hide this menu, you have an option here. You can collapse it, or you can completely hide it, or you can open that back up. So some really cool things. Gonna hide that again because we don't really need a whole lot of that. And then again, if you're adding hyperlinks, so you could add in a hyperlink. You've got an option to open it in a new tab. So if I wanted this to go to google.com, and here I can update my text, so goes to Google, open it in a new tab, or I can link to my current content, which is also really cool that everything is right here. So this gives me the ability to link within my site, and again, it's just amazing. So maybe I'll change that link to the Hello World post and add that link in there, so it's not going to go to Google anymore. And we'll have to update that. So besides this, you can also add media. So another really cool thing, if you want to add in images, really a lot of options with WordPress. And also then there's the text editor. So here we've got HTML version of all that we've just done, and we do have a menu up here as well where we can customize some of it. So if you want to insert an image, all of that HTML code is there. So if you are familiar with HTML, Sometimes this is a quicker way to do an update. When you go back to visual, you see that update has actually taken place and it's done. So it's going to be the same thing. This is where WordPress is going to be reading it out from and actually creating the post on the page. So Visual Editor is here for those of us or those users that might not be as familiar or might not want to use HTML. So they've got the visual version as well.